Welcome to the 411 podcast with Bethany and Michael. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Michael.
We're here to discuss the people, places, and stories of Montana, where we're going to start with the small towns of northern Montana. And I think we're going to start today. Whoops, I just kicked my mic.
In our beautiful hometown of Conrad.
Conrad, Montana. So, what are we going to talk about today, Michael?
Well, here's what we're going to do. So, first off, we're going to talk a little bit about the area around Conrad, Pend Oreille County, up here in the Golden Triangle of Montana. But we'll also talk quite a bit about our local museum of the Conrad History and Transportation. So, yeah.
Why is it called the Transportation
We got
Museum?
cars. It's
Yeah?
great cars.
We got cars?
We got cars. We
Cool.
got, what, 5 cars? Six cars. Check that. Well, 5.5.
6 cars?
5.5. One isn't a total build. So.
Oh, okay.
But no, so Conrad here is it's an interesting town. Super interesting. I don't know how long you've been here, but I mean, this is my 6th year here. So, and I've learned quite a bit because I also run this here museum. It's great. But this area is part of the Blackfeet Nation territory. So the Blackfeet eventually, at one point in time, they extended from where their reservation is now into Glacier Park and all throughout northern and central Montana, going as far south as like the Musselshell River down by Harlowton, if you remember that.
I don't remember that, but I trust you.
All right. Stick with me here. It's great.
Okay.
So yeah. So the Blackfeet, they had their big reach. However, as Americans started encroaching on this land, they were starting to get pushed further and further back due to a variety of reasons, disease, government policies, all that fun stuff. But we do have up by us, Tiber Reservoir. And when that was going in, here in the museum, we have a collection of arrowheads that was actually discovered right by Tiber. It's a large collection, over 150 pieces, and it's just wonderful if you have ever seen it. We take great pride in this. But we do have the Whoop-Up Trail coming through here. So the Whoop-Up Trail ran from Fort Benton, Montana, through this area and on up to Lethbridge.
Why is it called the Whoop-Up Trail?
Well, up north in Canada, I don't remember exactly which fort it was, they would trade their goods with the Native Americans. Those goods being whiskey. And they were whooping it up there. So hence Fort Whoop-Up.
Wow.
So, I don't remember the actual name of the fort, but I just know it as Fort Whoop-Up. But
So
here,
was the fort in Canada or was the fort in the U.S.?
the fort was in Canada, up
Okay.
by Lethbridge, if I remember right. But we had one of the forts on the trail. We had Fort Conrad. Now, Fort Conrad, as the crow flies from where we're sitting at, is actually about 5 miles northeast of here. So it's up on the dry fork of the Marias River. Nothing is left there. Like, there's no buildings or anything like that.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. I would love to have seen that. In fact, we can't even find pictures of the place. We have one little sketch. That's it.
Then how do you know it actually existed?
We do have some accounts, but not much.
Accounts like people just saying,
Yeah, journal accounts.
wow.
Yeah, they wrote quite a bit, surprisingly, and it's wonderful. I've been in contact with the Canadian Archives to try to find the journals and whatnot to see if there's anything about Fort Conrad. It's kind of become my white whale that I'm always after, so it's great. But yeah,
Well, if anyone out there has any more information on Fort Conrad, hit us up.
we would love that, and you would make my life so very much easier. But Fort Conrad, it wasn't around a whole long time. They were part of the Hudson Bay Company. I believe they were part of the American Fur Company to start off with, and then sold to Hudson Bay. It eventually just disappeared. So just disappeared throughout time. Every now and again, we do get artifacts coming in that people have found in that area. So we have, for example, nails, we have buckles, coins. In fact, we even have what I think might be a dud cannonball, but I'm not quite sure. I need to call the folks at Malmstrom. So if anybody down there at Malmstrom can help us out, that'd be great.
So with when you say a dud cannonball,
it did not explode.
Oh, it didn't explode.
So it didn't explode, but we're not sure if it's a training round or if it's an actual live shell. So,
but I mean, aren't cannonballs just like big balls of lead or metal or whatever?
More
and
often.
then you pack, I don't know, the powder and the blowy up stuff in it, and then light the cannon, and then it fires. So aren't all cannonballs kind of?
Not necessarily. They would use just solid metal balls just to get the range of the gun itself. Now, mind you, that's more so. I'm more of a early 20th century historian, so that's what they used to do in the pre-World War I days. I'm assuming they got this from the 19th century, but I have not found anything yet.
I know nothing about artillery and old guns and
old stuff.
Well, I know some stuff about old stuff. Like, that's pretty broad.
Yeah, it goes boom.
But yeah, I don't know anything about like the cannons and the guns and that sort of thing. So.
Oh yes, I've been having to learn a lot. Let's put it that way.
I know that pirates used to use blunderbusses. They're called.
Yeah, the blunderbuss.
Yeah, that's about the extent of my knowledge.
No, if you ever get the chance to go to, where was it? Fort Missoula, just outside of the city of Missoula. They have an amazing collection of weaponry there. It's awesome. Fantastic.
I have not seen the weaponry in Fort Missoula, but I have been in Fort Missoula because when I was going to college in Missoula, that's where the theater department stored a lot of their stuff, like their sets and that sort of thing. Yeah, so we'd have to take a bus over to Fort Missoula and load up a truck full of our stuff and bring it back to the theater. So I have been in the fort, but I was like lifting flats and that sort of thing.
Go check it out. It is awesome. They are wonderful people there, and they do a fantastic job.
Cool.
But yeah. Anyway, we kind of got off track.
Yeah.
That's all right. Anyway, the fort eventually disappeared. We had a little settlement show up here called Pendroy, Montana. Or Ponderay, Ponderay, Montana. Words are hard. So Ponderay, Montana, it was about 2 miles to the east of where we are at right now, about 1 mile to 2. However, when the rail line, just like every other town in Montana, it seems like, every other town, when the rail line comes through, they pick up everything, buildings and everything, and move it to the rail line.
So out east, I've seen a sign that says like the Target and stuff, and I guess it used to be like an old restaurant or club or something.
Yeah, restaurant and dance hall.
Was that part of like when, because I know they picked up the building and moved it into town. Was that part of the moving everything to the rail?
Nope. That one, that's a different move. So
Okay.
It's what's now the Moose Building.
Yeah.
Where our Moose Lodge is at. So the building you're talking about actually came into town. It was about around the time of the missiles and whatnot in the 1970s.
Okay.
So that's when that came into town. In fact, some of our folks around town here, they still remember the Target being out there and dancing out there.
Well, I love driving out that way, and then just in the middle of the field is this sign that says like the Target Bar and Lounge.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's so quirky to just, I mean, and it's so like this area to just have a random restaurant sign in the middle of a field. It's.
Oh yeah. I was hearing a bit from the folks over at the Moose, like Randy and Peggy. I don't know if you've met Randy and Peggy. They awesome people. Some of the best people you could ever meet. They were the ones telling me all about that place. So I got to talk to them a little bit more, but I also have to talk to our local historian, Janice Farkell, because Janice knows everything because she's a legend. So
Yes.
thanks,
Well,
Janice.
We'll have them all on the podcast eventually.
Hopefully one day.
Yes.
Hopefully. So yeah, Pend Oreille, the rail line came through. The Montana Western Rail came through, and we picked up all the buildings and moved it over to what we call now Front Street, right alongside the rail line there. And we are we're here, and we changed our name to Conrad after our Conrad brothers that helped with the irrigation district out of Lake Francis. They were land speculators. They kind of had their hands in a little of everything. They were part of the mercantile business, got their start out of Fort Benton. So
now there's I've heard of the Conrad Mansion.
same people, but they lived in Kalispell.
Oh, okay.
So like they made their money on this side of the mountains and moved to that side of the mountains.
Oh.
So they went into the mountains. That's all right, though. We'll forgive them.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe someday.
So yeah, we had the Montana Western Rail, and we got Conrad, and here we have been. If you go into the museum, you'll see a handful of photos that we had taken, big yard-long photos, just gorgeous. I love them, from like 1909 and 1919, 1929, about every 10 years. You can see Conrad as a town growing and changing throughout the years. It's just wonderful to see. Just wonderful. But yeah, so our museum here, we tell the story of Conrad proper, and we're starting to make the move into telling the story of Pend Oreille County with the help again of Janice, because again, Janice, you're a legend. So so yeah, we have a variety of exhibits in here. But the building itself, I really need to build an exhibit about this building, because this building used to be an auto dealership. There was, so they would deal Chevrolet out of here. They would repair cars in here. There was a little blacksmith shop set up in one spot of it. Heck, for that matter, we've heard rumor. We've never found anything that says, yes, this happened, but never anything that said, no, it didn't happen. We've heard rumor that this building held a morgue at one point.
Ooh, spooky.
It would be. If you have ever been in here at night, it is spooky.
Well, I have heard, like, there's stories of during, like, the Spanish flu, and that a lot of buildings were used as makeshift morgues.
Yeah, and I mean, this building was around at that point in time, so could it have happened? It would be a great story if it did.
How old is this building?
This building, in its present iteration, was built in roughly about 1918. So that would be prime Spanish flu.
Huh.
So be prime Spanish flu. And the building right next door, 2 doors down, was the funeral home at one point.
Oh, well, that'd be convenient.
That'd be very convenient. And you can feel it's pretty cold in here, so that would work out too. So, but yeah, on this site originally, though, before it became an auto dealer and possible morgue, they actually had bricks made here. So a lot of the bricks that you see over in the building that houses our very own Folklore Cafe and the Made in Montana Alpaca Shop, that one.
Yeah.
A lot of those bricks, from what I understand, were actually forged right here.
Really?
So, from what I understand, so it's been kind of a jack of all trades location.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But it is a wonderful building. Our board of directors for the Pend Oreille Historical Association, they went to great lengths to try to bring this building back.
Yeah. How long has it been a museum?
We opened our doors in 2006.
Oh, okay.
So what is that, 18 years, I guess that is?
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here.
There is a lot of stuff in here, and I'm finding more and more
Yeah.
every day that I'm working in here. But yeah, we have like I said before, we have cars. We got cars.
You got cars.
We have a Chevy Cordoba. We have a couple of Model Ts, 66 Mustang. So that's everybody's favorite car.
Yeah, my son really likes the Mustang.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I go farther old school. I go all the way back with our 1914 Overland touring car.
Ooh.
It is awesome.
It's a nice looking car.
It is beautiful. It has the wood spokes, the hand crank, the works. It is just wonderful.
So did someone donate that, or is it on loan?
Yeah,
or?
one of our board of directors, Harold and Betty, they have donated it to us.
Oh.
So
Does it still run?
it does run.
Really?
It does run. If we could figure out how to do it quickly and efficiently, we would pull that out and use it in our whoop-up parade in early June. But if you figure out how to do that, let me know. So, and then we have a Studebaker in here. That one does not run, though. That needs a little work, but it's a Studebaker. It's great.
So do you have a door to get the cars in? Like how...
We do. It's a giant garage door. If you look on the outside, you can see where there was a second door at one point in time.
Is that the original door from when it was a car dealership?
It is the original door. So yeah, we throw that open. Like when we brought in that Cordoba last spring, before the museum opened for the summer, we had to push everything, all the exhibits you see in here, had to push them all as far off to the side as we could so we could bring that car in without hitting anything else and pull it into one of the stalls. So that was that got to be a tight squeeze, because that Cordova, that is a beast of a car.
And like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here.
There is
so
a lot of stuff.
It was a big job to move it all back.
Oh yeah, that was a multi-day process going on. But we do have a couple of exhibits up. We have our exhibit on whoop-up days. So all about our days on the whoop-up trail. So our whoop-up days exhibit, we start off with the advent of it in the late 1930s. The Lions Club here in town decided, hey, it's hot here in the summer. You're on the northern Montana plains. Let's have a pool. All right, so fantastic. Let's have a pool. So they host whoop-up days. So they raise a lot of money. After about 2 years, maybe 3, the state attorney general came in and shut them down. They couldn't raise money anymore.
No whooping up?
No whooping up. Well, at least not in that capacity, because they were running games like craps and poker.
They were being a little too naughty with the
They
whoop-up
were
days.
being a little naughty, so they got shut down. But then the war happened, and it picked up back up again in 47, if I remember correctly, 46 or 47, and we've been whooping it up since. So it's a lot of fun, but we have our exhibit up talking about the history of it. We even have one of our board members, her dad was the clown, one of the clowns that ran in the parade. So we have his outfits and even his makeup kit.
Yeah, I saw his outfits. The shoes are
Epic.
Really something to see. They're really cool.
They're awesome. If you noticed in our case, we have his bowler hat.
Oh, yeah?
And on the front, it says back, and on the back, it says front. So
those silly clowns.
I know, those crazy clowns. But so we have that one, but we have my favorite exhibit still up.
What is your favorite exhibit?
Our vaudeville panels.
Ooh, yeah.
So way back when, we had a multitude of theaters. One of them was called The Gem. The Gem was down on Front Street, small theater, nothing fancy. It ended up closing in about 1917, 1918, about the time our current Orpheum Theater opened up. Well, when the Gem closed, their vaudeville panels were brought to the Orpheum, where they were stashed in the basement for 103 years until we pulled them out and put them on display. They're absolutely amazing, because you can see the paint strokes from when they painted it, because it can turn back and forth. You can flip it around. But you can see that. I mean, it's all made of asbestos board, and I mean, it's just magnificent. I love it. Unfortunately, it's had a little water damage, but
Well, after being, what'd you say, 103 years in a basement?
Yeah, 103 years. We're top shelf right now.
Yeah.
So I love that thing. Absolutely love it. The stories that could tell.
Yeah.
So
all the traveling performers who came through,
exactly,
who performed in front of those, and
yeah, all the local talent being up on stage.
Yeah. Well, and it's really funny because a lot of those old theaters, we don't have them anymore because half of them burnt down.
Yeah.
Because before there was the electric lights, they would use candles and you know, and then they got the electrical lights and they weren't always, up to code or, what we would consider to be safe
and proper.
Yeah. So when I was researching theaters in Butte, I was just amazed at how many theaters just burnt to the ground, just are gone because they just burnt down.
Yeah. And I just read this just the other day, something about a ghost light. Yeah. Have you ever heard of this?
I have heard of a ghost light.
What is this? I came across it when I was doing some research about a ghost light, and are we into X-Files kind of stuff, or?
Well, a little bit. I mean, I don't know a lot about the origin of the ghost light. Director I worked with this past summer, he insisted on having a ghost light up. He would be someone to talk to more about what a ghost light is. The only thing I've heard, or and it's just people talking, so you never know if they know what they're talking about or not.
Shocking.
But a ghost light is every theater supposedly has a ghost, right? So you leave a light on for the ghost.
Yeah, I've always heard that, and I have heard when I asked another friend of mine that's in theater. They said it was more pragmatic, is that you left it by the edge of the stage, from what I understand. So that way, in case someone was there after the lights were out, they could see where the edge was. Because I guess in some of those older theaters, it'd be like a 20-foot drop to the bottom. Right.
Well, and a lot of that stuff, whether it's theater or whatever, usually lore comes out of practicality. There's the superstition that you never whistle in a theater. It's bad luck to whistle in a theater. Well, that came from a practicality, right? Because in the old days, a lot of the stagehands in that were sailors. They were sailors who, when they were not out sailoring, they would work in theaters. And so a lot of the rigging was done with sailor knots and that sort of stuff.
Right.
And so they would signal to each other by whistling. And so if you were whistling in a theater, they didn't want someone to get confused and drop a set piece on your head or whatever. Ooh. So it was a safety thing.
Interesting.
So, but now it's this big, superstition sort of thing. Don't whistle in a theater. It's bad luck. Well, it's bad luck because, someone might misunderstand why you're whistling and, drop something on you.
Well, then what about the superstition around saying the Scottish play's name?
Play?
Yes, the Scottish play.
Well, we're not in a theater.
So we can say it.
So
that is true.
So you can say it when you're not in a theater.
So, yeah, Macbeth.
Macbeth, yes.
So.
There's lore and legend that it's a cursed play. Part of it is that supposedly the spell that the three witches, that they do is a real spell or incantation from back in the day. And so it's supposedly a cursed play because
interesting.
Yeah, because of the occult aspect of it. I don't know how much of that is true. That could just be something to hype it up to, get people to come and see the spooky show or whatever.
Absolutely.
But
well, you'll be happy to know I teach my speech and drama team. You do not say that name in the auditorium.
Yep, not in a theater.
Yeah.
It's safe to, well, unless you're doing the show. Then you can't go through
without saying
the name Macbeth when you're doing the play Macbeth. But yeah, you're supposed to avoid saying Macbeth. That's why we say the Scottish play.
The Scottish play.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because in our museum we have the antidote to all that. We have a pharmacy.
Ooh.
Yeah. We've got a pharmacy modeled on our very own Olson's Pharmacy here in town.
Oh, yeah?
It used to be way back in the day, it was Ponderay Drug, Drake's Drug, and now it's Olson's. So owned by the Utterback brothers. But it is one of the last remaining soda fountains in town over there at Olson's.
Yeah.
Or one of the last remaining in the country, I should say. I know talking to them, they said it was hard to get people to come and fix it because there's just nobody that knows how to fix it anymore. But yeah, we have our drugstore. We have a mercantile based on our own Hirschberg mercantile here in town. That was down on Front Street. But what's really cool, when I was cleaning out our research center over the summer and it needed some work, I found an envelope. One of the big manila envelopes, right? And I open it up and
gold?
I wish. As a historian, no, this is gold.
Okay. But not real gold.
I wish. You think I'd still be teaching?
I don't know, but you'd be sitting here doing a podcast with me.
Of course I would. I actually found the letters from George Hirschberg, the guy that found the Hirschberg Mercantile, from his then fiance. They weren't married yet. It's all her letters she had written to him when he was out here. This is about 1906. They are wonderful because she's trying to be so sweet and so romantic and this, that, and the other. But Edwardian, Victorian norms say no. And it's just wonderful. I wish I could find the George Hirschberg responses.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing those probably have been lost to history. But, I would love to find those just to see what he's saying back. But yeah, just found him in a manila envelope. And
oh, that's so sweet.
So yeah, got to get those processed. I need to call the folks down in Helena to see if we can't get those digitized. And yeah, we have a lot of work to do on those because they're wonderful, just wonderful.
Have you ever thought about like doing a reading or something, or do you think that would be too personal to put out there in the world?
I think it would work.
Yeah.
I think it would work. I have not heard of any family still in the area, so probably have to do some genealogical work on the Hirschbergs, but
so can people come down to the museum and read them, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have the full run of the Independent Observer up to the 1970s, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. But yeah, we have a huge run of those. We have the letters. We have photos galore. We have yearbooks. We have town histories of not just Conrad, but little town Brady and Valier and Depouiller and whatnot.
I used to live in Brady.
Did you really?
Yeah, briefly, right before my son. Actually, when my son was born, we were living in Brady.
Well, I used to live down there too. My first year here in the area, I was in Brady, a couple doors down from Dusty's.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun little town.
It is. Shout out to Travis and Courtney there. They know me very well. So great barbecue if you ever get to go there, and just good food, good people, good atmosphere. Thank you, Dusty's. So
we love you, Dusty's.
But yeah, so we've got the mercantile, we've got the drugstore, we've got a makeshift blacksmith shop, loosely modeled on one of the blacksmith shops from back in the early part of the days. And we have a homestead cabin. Not the full cabin, but our people, our board of directors, when this place was getting up and running, they went to a homestead shack that was somewhere to the southeast of town here, from what they've told me. And they took off every board of this homestead shack, numbered it, brought it here to the museum, and then reassembled part of it on site. So it's about as authentic as you can get. It's not the full thing. It's about 2/3 of the actual one. So it's pretty good size.
Yeah.
So we've got like steamer trunks in there and bedding and even one of those big cast iron stoves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say it's a pretty good size, and it is for like a museum display, but I always look at that and I think about living in one of those.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how you have absolutely no privacy.
Privacy is not a thing.
I just don't, I don't, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just too modern of a person. Like, I could see living in like a little cabin like that with like one other person. Maybe if you really, really, really liked that person.
But these are people with like wife, husband, 3, 4, 5 kids.
Right? Where do you put them?
You get creative, I guess.
I guess. You know, I know they have like the old trundle beds and stuff, but still, like, I mean, my kids, when they sleep, are like obnoxious. Like, they, you know, kick and.
I think that's every kid.
Yeah. So it's like if you have 3 kids in a tiny little cabin and they're all like kicking and waking up and like, you know, I want a drink of water or whatever. It's like, how do you get any sleep?
Right.
You know, not to mention, like, you know, if you want a little bit of alone time, if you know what I'm saying.
Hey, this is a family-friendly podcast.
Is it? Right? Have we decided that?
Did we decide that?
We haven't decided that.
Oh, well, then I guess you're free game then.
If you want some alone time to spend with your, like, do you just tell the kids to, I don't know, go
chase
play at the river?
Cars or something? I don't know. So.
Well, they didn't have cars to chase then. It's
okay,
like,
go chase the horse.
Go chase, yeah. Go chase something. Goat. Just go away for...
Go find the bear.
A few minutes.
But yeah, we also have some homage to our dentists, some barbers, even our hospital. All right, so what is now the Tamarack Apartments? You know where those are?
I do.
Yeah, that used to be the hospital. Way back in the day. We've got some stuff from there. We even have the Candy Striper uniforms.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. One of our dear friends, Wayne...
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Wayne.
I know Wayne.
Wayne is great. He's a legend, too. He actually said at one point he was a candy striper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, I don't see that happening, but you do you, Wayne.
Yeah, so. Funny thing about Wayne, when I first moved to Montana, like 20-some years ago. I think it was 20-some years ago. Yeah, it would have been. My parents had been living here, and I moved here, and I was staying with my parents, and I auditioned for a play in Great Falls, and Wayne was the director of that show like 20 years ago. And so I did one show down there, and then I moved to Missoula, and then I was gone from the area for years and years. I'd come back, you know, back and forth, stay with my folks or visit my folks or whatever. And when I moved back here for keepsies to stay about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I guess it would have been about 3 years.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago. I mean, I'd been in the area for quite a while.
Right.
But I didn't really like lay down roots or anything. I was just sort of passing through. And I went to the auditions for a show.
Was that Clue?
No, that was Mamma Mia.
Oh, Mamma Mia.
And,
yeah, that was the spring before.
There's Wayne sitting there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I met you like 20 years ago. And so it was, you know, it was really fun getting to see him again and see that he's still doing theater. And
yeah.
You know, and that we got to work in theater again after that one show, like way back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, when he found out I took over the speech and drama team here at the high school, he used to be the coach for, I think he said like 15 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And he was pretty jacked that I had taken that over. And yeah, I mean, we went on a road trip earlier this summer. We went up to the Havre Underground. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I have.
That's a great place.
Yeah,
absolutely
it's a lot of fun.
It is. So yeah, there's another place y'all can go to is Havre Underground.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. But yeah, we took a road trip up there. Had to stop at the Sugar Shack. So
I don't know the Sugar Shack.
You don't know the Sugar Shack?
I don't know the Sugar Shack.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's in Rudyard. It's right alongside Highway 2.
Yeah, I've been through Rudyard numerous times.
Because that used to be the Trail Cafe.
Oh, okay.
That Trail Cafe was over by where the abandoned lots are across the street from the funeral home. So it used to be there.
The funeral home here in Conrad?
Here in Conrad. They moved the building from here to, I think it came from Cutbank to here to Shelby to Rudyard, I think it was. I could be getting my towns wrong, but it's moved around a bit.
It must have been cheaper back then to move buildings than
Probably
it is today.
Probably so. And it's not a big building, but great lunches, great shakes there. It's a really good
I'll
little
have to
spot.
check it out next time I'm headed up that way.
Well, it's only open in the summer, so you might be too late for this year.
Well, there's always next year.
There's always next year. But yes, we had that one, and yeah, because I guess Wayne used to work at that too.
Really?
I'm kind of wondering where Wayne did not work. So Wayne he's everywhere.
Wayne, please come and be on our show.
But yes, our museum, we're telling the stories over here. Even of our military, we have a local boy in World War II that was a P-51 pilot, Lewis Norley Hall.
Oh, yeah, Norley Hall.
Yeah, named after him.
Oh, wow.
So, real fascinating story. I won't tell you that one. Y'all got to come to the museum and check that one out yourselves. So, cool. Yes, that's a shameless plug. You're welcome. So, and then we also have some of the last remaining things from the USS Ponderay.
The USS Ponderay.
The USS Ponderay was an attack transport during World War II. Served in the Pacific. Like we have the plaque, we have some of the rosters, and then some of the odds and ends, I guess you could say.
Odds and ends?
Yeah, like the ephemera, I guess it would be called. So our producer is looking it up right now just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. So, yes.
Yeah. Big shout out to Lynn, our producer. Yay.
She's pretty fantastic. So, but anyway, yeah, so we have that stuff. We have even, if you look at our flags, our American flags back there, one of them is different. We have like 48 stars and we have a 50 star, but we have a 49 star flag.
Really?
We do. We found it in one of our filing cabinets, but it was made in that, what was it, about a year, I think it was, between when Alaska and Hawaii became states. In that little time frame when Alaska was a state, but Hawaii wasn't.
Oh.
So they made this flag, and it's just weird because when you look at it, you're just looking at it and something isn't right. Like you can just,
yeah, it's just
something's not right, and you just know it is not right. And it took me a great long while to figure out what it was. So,
yeah. Did you sit and count the stars?
I did.
You did?
I did. As a historian, even I can count. It's not much, but I can count. So
you can count up to 49 at least.
At least 49. It's great. Outside of that, we're getting a calculator. So
do you remember, like, I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself here, and I don't know if you had this experience, but like in math class when you were, in junior high, and be like, can I use a calculator? And teacher's like, no, you're not always going to have a calculator with you. See?
Oh, I know. I had that too. Oh, Lord.
And now everybody has a calculator, has like almost a supercomputer with them at all times. It's
great. Yes,
I feel vindicated. Like, yeah, I do.
A little bit.
I do have a calculator with me.
We know you're a tech person, Lynn, so yeah, I do distinctly remember hearing my teachers like Mr. Robbins and Mr. Olson and all the others.
You were wrong, Mr. Robbins and Mr. Olson. You were so wrong.
Exactly. But they were awesome. Like Mr. Olson was probably one of my favorite teachers.
Yeah.
So he was a lot of fun. Used to be the mayor of my hometown of Manhattan.
Really?
Yeah, at one point he was.
Manhattan, Montana.
The Little Apple.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we have that 49 star flag. So
that's pretty cool.
It is. But yeah, we're only open here in the summertime. But if you want to come in for a tour or to do research in our research center, you just have to give us a call, or give me a call, I should say, or shoot me a line, and we'll arrange a time where you can come in, and I'll walk you through everything and show you what's what.
And also, on Halloween, the Ponderay Players do a spooky museum tour.
Yes, a haunted house, as it were.
Yeah, except for it's not a house; it's a museum.
It's a museum.
So it's a haunted museum.
So yeah, we've got that going on. It's I forget what did we set a cost for that? I don't think we did when we talked about it.
No.
I don't think we did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, come on down. It's going to be on the night of Halloween. Our Ponderay players, they're fantastic people. They do a wonderful show all the time.
And yours truly will be making an appearance at the Haunted
Are you?
Museum. Yeah, I'm going to be in it. I was in it last year.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I was too.
Me and my whole family were in it.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It might just be me this year because my kids want to do the trick-or-treating thing. So they might do some trick-or-treating and then come and be in it. But it's so much fun.
It is. It is. Last year I was Custer.
You were Custer?
Yes, my bald head had a blonde wig. So
I don't remember you being in it last year, but you know what? Like I didn't go back to that part of it.
Oh yeah, I was back there with our friend John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was MacArthur, I think.
Oh,
I think it was
okay.
General MacArthur, but I could be mistaken on that. I'm sure John will tell me otherwise if
I was
I'm wrong.
Morticia Adams.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
So we have like Custer and MacArthur and then Morticia Adams. So
yeah.
It's a pretty eclectic.
It is very eclectic.
But it's a lot of fun.
And then and at Christmas we're at the Christmas stroll, we're going to be open that night.
Yeah.
On the Christmas stroll, we're still filling out details for that. So, there's things going on down here.
Yeah.
So we love having people show up in here. We got see everybody else. They have their stuff to sell. We tell stories because who doesn't like story time?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones fan.
I am a Game of Thrones fan.
And that last episode, that beautiful
spoiler alert,
that beautiful, well-received last episode of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I detect the tone of sarcasm on that one.
What? Yeah. When they talk about stories.
Yeah.
Stories are, they're not wrong. They just maybe could have worded it a bit differently. But.
Exactly. See, I get a play in stories. It's great.
Yeah.
Like our producer, she gets to play with technology. I play with stories. Mm-hmm. So, lucky me. I think I got the better end of that. She's saying no.
So, anything else?
I think that's about it. I think I pretty well covered everything for the museum here, and just a little synopsis of Conrad history, but we'll be delving more into depth on that because there's a lot of stories here. Well,
and I want to let everybody know that if you like the show and you want to hear more stuff, which we're going to do some more stuff regardless of whether or not you want to hear it for the time being anyway. But please let us know if you like the show and if you want to hear more of this sort of thing. And we have an email address. You can reach us at 406-411podcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email if there's something you want to hear us talk about, or if you're interested in being a guest on the show. We're going to try and get some guests in here, so shake it up a bit.
Yeah, y'all don't want to listen to me, and I know my students don't want to listen to me offline.
Well, we'll break it up a bit. We'll have some people in, but we're really excited to get started and just talk about the area and things that are going on and interesting buildings, and have people in just to chat about whatever projects they're doing or anything they want to bring attention to. So please shoot us an email. Again, at 406-411podcast@gmail.com. And, this is Bethany and Michael, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Be good.
Bye-bye.